To your point about whether it goes one way or the other, I mentioned, conventional wisdom is maybe it helps Trump, endorses Trump, gets out of the way. On the other side of it, though, I'll put this up from Newsweek, the guy Alan Lichtman, he gets a lot of this stuff right for whatever reason, but he says, and they call him the polling Nostradamus, that RFK dropping out would help Harris, saying that the independent candidate exiting the race would help Vice President Harris's campaign for the White House. So you get opinions on both sides. I think your point is you think it's a wash. So where's the race right now? What type of real momentum is being built out there?
At the end of the day, when you look at what's going on right now, the fact that Donald Trump had to campaign in North Carolina today is all you need to know. The race has changed. North Carolina is in play. I believe right now that Harris is going to win North Carolina. I believe that Joe Biden had a chance to win North Carolina, mostly because North Carolina's Republicans chose a maniac at the top of their ticket who makes Donald Trump look calm and rational. So I think North Carolina is in play. I think Trump was wise to go there today, but I don't think it's going to help. I think what we're looking at right now is a surge for Harris that if she could keep the energy of her party up for the next 75 days, she will be president of the United States.
But does she help? What does it do down ballot? Used to work for Democrats, including Schumer, right in the Congress. So, he's been out there talking about the fact that he thinks Democrats can take the Senate. I've said it. We've talked about it on the show a number of times. That is a tough map. The Tester would have to keep his seat in Montana. And at the best, maybe you get to 50-50 and Walz is your tiebreaker if Harris wins. Is the Senate really in play, or are you just focused on the White House and the House?
Well, look, I think we lost West Virginia, right? That's not going to happen for Democrats in the Senate. So now we got to look for a 50-50 or a place to pick up. The most likely pickups would be Florida and Texas. I don't know that that's actually possible right now. Although, look, Colin Albright versus Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is one of the most unpopular senators within his own state in the Senate. So you never know what might happen there. But I think 50-50 is where it's likely to end up, or a 49-51 Republican majority.
Yeah, we see abortion on the ballot in some of those states. Some people think that affects turnout. We'll see.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the convention. I know we'll be covering it tonight. Chris Hahn. Let me get a Republican view on this. Bring May Mailman into the conversation right now. I'm sure she was listening to Chris Hahn, and welcome, May. The idea here of North Carolina, Chris started with that. His point was, like, if Trump's in North Carolina, which he was today, first outdoor rally since the shooting in Pennsylvania, that tells you all you need to know. That's Chris, as you heard. Now, what does it tell us?
Yeah, it tells us that we know that the Democrats are going to spend money there. They're going to spend time there, and they always have. They spend tens of millions of dollars trying to win statewide, and at least defeating, senators in the past, it hasn't worked. So I think that that's going to be the case again here. Obviously, like there is, I think, an energetic governor's race. I wouldn't say that the governor is crazy. He's a normal guy. Like, people see Tim Walz running around crazy, and that's not crazy.
You talk about Mark Robinson in North Carolina. You don't think he hurts the ticket? That's been your Democrats have been saying that's what hurts Republicans. That gut race.
He says what he feels, and in that sense, he's Trumpian in that he's not a politician. And that's, I think, what people like. Obviously, like, that does turn people off. Some people, want their politicians to be a little bit more stoic. But I think it's funny because you see the same type of behavior on the left and on the right. And when it's on the left, my opinion is that it's celebrated as high energy, the squad, things like that. How dare you criticize, their behavior there. And then when you see it on the right, it's, this person is wild. So it is at least high energy.
Well, let me ask you about what you think of we flashed up before the abortion referendum that's on this ballot in a lot of these states. Florida's one, Arizona, even Montana, where there's a Senate race. So, Tester needs any help he can get turnout-wise. Republicans are worried there about what that might do. I mean, no state was closer last time than Arizona.
It is concerning. And I lived in Ohio for a very long time. This is a state that went very big for Trump, and yet it's a state that very resoundingly solidified abortion protections in their constitution because people came out. It is a highly motivating issue for voters. And so if
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.